The Dearborn Independent, May 20th, 1922, 22nd year, number 30. Mr. Ford's page. The people's disgust with politics plays into the politician's hands unless it is allied with vision. The fact that people do not expect anything from the old crowd in politics is proof enough that the old crowd is done. But the people should simply accept the fact as it relates to politics and not confuse politics with government. It is now possible for them quietly to select for congressmen of the right type, even if they shall be unable to do much after re-election. Select them one by one, here and there and everywhere. Let them go to Congress and study the ground. Leave them alone, and when the time of the new forward movement comes, you will have a Congress of the right sort of men without any hooray. It is sometimes asked, of what importance is politics to the welfare of the country? This question grows out of a state of mind which is startling when its extent is understood. So long has government been confused with administration which happened to be in the office, and so long has the administration been regarded as the same thing as politics, that there has come a period of national stock-taking on the part of the people which has marked politics at the bottom of the scale. Political writers of long experience and clear vision are telling us that there is now no choice of parties, that both are rotten. Observers tell us that in the actual work of government there is not enough difference between one administration and another to pay for the expense of a national election. It doesn't seem to be true that solely because of incompetency, the group composing the administration, not any administration in particular, but all administrations of the last 15 or 20 years, has succeeded in doing nothing more astounding than simply putting Washington on a side street. When an administration is so incompetent that it hinders the government from leading, the consequence is that for the duration of that administration at least, the government is compelled to step aside while the country marches on. It may be true that both parties are rotten, but in saying so it is necessary to explain what you mean by parties. Surely you do not mean the people comprising the parties. Surely no one intends to say that the people comprising the Republican and Democratic parties, the citizen voters of the country, are rotten. Hardly. When we use the word party nowadays, we usually mean the office-holding corporations, the organization, the fellow who are rewarded when their man wins office, the gamblers in the political favor of the people. The party is an inside ring which cares for the issue only as advertising signs with which to bid for the votes of the people. In this sense, both the Republican job-holding corporations and the Democratic job-holding corporations are undoubtedly all that the critics say about them. That is why both parties evince an equal incompetence when they are elected to office. Arrival at office is their success. It is their objective. Thereafter, their main work is consolidating the hold they have gained. They build their fences with government favors. They pay no heed to the people until the people show signs of moving on the place. And then the heed they give only means that they defer their game for a little. The political career of the true party politician is a career of public employment, not of public service. He is trained to achieve public employment. He is not trained to render public service. How then can this man minister to a country which is passing through a period of world dissolution, men who seek political place for employment's sake, men who seek political power for the personal satisfaction of building up a mere partisan organization? The consequence has been that events have simply forced politics to a side place. The apathy of the people with regard to elections is explained by their feeling that politics no longer counts. People say that it doesn't matter which side is elected. Often the only satisfaction which they take in voting is that they're voting one set of incompetents out, even though they're conscious that they're only voting another set in. Business has marched on independently, only asking that politics keep out of the way. Education, invention, development, all have marched on their way, in spite of the indifference of political personages. Business has particularly shoved politics to one side, and politics, jealous of its place, has endeavored again and again to throw the halter around the neck of business and compel it to eat out of politicians' hand. It is said that toward the end, Senator Penrose's whole philosophy was that business in this country should be permitted to do anything it liked, as long as it asked permission of politics. Now, this is the situation which has risen in the country. This is the situation which gives rise to the question, what is the use of politics? It is just a modern expression of the same spirit which was roused by a tree which refused to bear fruit. Why come birth in the ground? In politics, if politics is good for nothing, if it makes nothing move, if it does not build highways for the country's progress, if it does not appreciably lighten the people's burden, if it doesn't make life secure and livelihood and economic certainty, of what use is it? The impulsive reaction, of course, is to answer that politics is good for nothing. At present, it is true that politics is good for nothing, but the present is a passing phase. The present is always more than half into the past. When a condition has become fully developed, it is already on its way out. Everything changes, and when it seems that the very height of incompetence or corruption or wicked power has been reached in a situation, that is the time to look up, for with ripens onto rottens, with success the game is up. Now that is the position of politics today. It is helpless. It is paying the price of its past insincerity and time-serving. It is reaping what it has sown. But do not confuse politics with government. Government is a select body of men serving the will of the people according to the terms of the Constitution. And in the perpetuity of the government, all of us have not only a voice but a duty. Let us grant most freely that the parties have both fallen into the ditch, that politics have been forced to the sidelines. But let us also understand that one by one we may select the type of men who can carry on the work of government and build up a national service which will be the party of the people, under whatever name it may be known. It is all a matter of men, of their moral soundness and mental strength. All of the great issues are now pulled by the parties. The parties practically agree on the principal lines to be taken. Party loyalty in office today consists mainly in preventing the party in power from doing the right and proper thing, in order that its failure to do so may throw it out of the office, and thus let the other party come in and do the very thing it prevented being done. The entire game has degenerated into the stealing thunder. Being all a matter of men, the country ought now to select, whatever the election occasion arises, men of right heart and able minds, men who are eager in the high and serviceable spirit to deal with the matters of government in a way to lift the load of the people. That is the answer to the question with which this page began. Choose now men who will be waiting and ready to act when present politics finally collapses and the new movement forward begins. Let the country embark now on a movement on infiltration by which there shall introduce into Congress and public offices sound men, pledged to nothing which the old regime considered sacred, but pledged only to do that which will make life of America what it was meant to be. There is still a duty in politics for every man and woman, and it would be double pity if our disgust for what is prevents us getting ready for the better things that are to be.